about threat actors. You may think to yourself, why do we need to know about who the threat actors are? Surely threat actors are largely the same. No. It's quite interesting. So, different threat actors are a threat to your network under different circumstances. They have different levels of access to resources and different levels to access of technology. And that means that depending on your security posture, they pose different threats to your company. So, at the low end of threats, if you don't patch your systems, if you don't harden your systems, if you just leave the back door open, you leave yourself vulnerable to script kiddies. Script kiddies are people who are just not technically savvy, but the exploit has been packaged in such a way that it's easy for them to use. And so they will take this packaged exploit and they will run around looking for low hanging fruit to attack. Next up, we have the insider threat. Insider threat is often motivated by money or being discontent. They aren't necessarily going to have a lot of technical savvy, but they are going to have privileged access to your systems, which gives them an advantage based on or over other threat actors. Then you have hacktivists, motivated by political or social agendas. Sometimes they'll deface your site, or sometimes they'll DDoS, or sometimes they'll do worse. But this is the usually the low end of the advanced threats. Then you have your cyber terrorist, who just wants to damage your business because they disagree with your business for whatever reason. They will do whatever damage they can. It could be DDoS, could be defacement, could be stealing and selling of your secrets, could be stealing and exposing of your secrets. But they will try and maximize the amount of damage to your company. Then you have competitors. Obviously, competitors would like to steal your data. They may try and get people hired as insider threats and provide them with tools, so they're like a more advanced version of an insider threat often. But they may attack from the outside as well. Then we've got organized crime. Organized crime is usually just motivated by money, and they will use things like ransomware to extort money from businesses by encrypting their valuable data they need for their business processes. And then we've got the hardest to get rid of, the hardest to detect, and the hardest to combat, the advanced persistent threat or nation state. They're state funded. They will have a huge amount of resources. They will have a huge amount of sophistication. With the huge amount of resources, they can pay people who have discovered zero-day exploits. When they do so, they're able to breach systems without being detected necessarily because it's a new exploit and there's not a patch for it or heuristic matching for it. And they get in and then they can establish persistence. They can establish other ways in. So even after this 0 day they've exploited becomes discovered and patched, they're still in your system. That's what makes them an advanced persistent threat, is the amount of persistence they establish on your network in your business. All right, well, that is the overview of threat actors in cyber defense. Thank you for joining me.